Hey everyone, this is GosuDad, and welcome to Game 1 in Season 7 of the Blizzard Online Ladder, FOW versus CuePhoenix, Protoss versus Zerg on the map Tal'darim Alter LE. Hey everyone, this is GosuDad, and welcome to Tal'darim Alter LE. Map we know and love, 4-player map in the cross positions from each other. We've got FOW playing Protoss in the red on the right hand side, asking do I have to go Phoenixes now. CuePhoenix in the upper left hand side playing Zerg in the blue. And actually I'm not sure that he realized what FOW was referencing there, as there is a but seriously, do I? Which is a good question, because a lot of Zerg players like to go for that Mutalisk option, which means Protoss players will often switch and do the Phoenix build to try to counter those Mutalisks. Now, Phoenixes are a great defense against Mutalisks, but of course Phoenixes are kind of having to be built in preemptively. You know, they build the Phoenixes because if you wait for the Mutas to show up to decide to build those Phoenixes, it's just a little bit too late. It's hard to play up in that It's hard to play catch-up in that Mutalisk-Phoenix balance, but a little bit of chatter between the two players on that side. So a long distance away from these two players, and I think CuePhoenix still not recognizing that Phoenix is in his name, and that is what that was. All that commenting was about Phoenix. So gateway going down for FOW, and of course a nice little extractor trick by CuePhoenix. We can see those Zergling, those drone remains there from the extractor. Going to be seeing perhaps an early expand out of CuePhoenix down to this natural expansion at a short while distance from his main there, and FOW still distracting everyone with the Phoenix's comment and chrono boosting out probes to try to gain an economic advantage. And CuePhoenix saying, I don't think we've ever played before, completely oblivious to what those comments are about. That is pretty silly. And of course silly that I am now just realizing this, because of course I am GosuDad, I am CuePhoenix, but that is another thing for another day. FOW cross map positions. He doesn't realize that he's in a cross map position. Interesting, he's not doing some kind of wall off. I would have expected that, but from a long distance, you're still threatening to build Phoenixes, but looks like he's going to be possibly going for some 4-gate play here, trying to make sure that he's not supply blocked. We can see a cybernetics core going down. He might literally be going for Phoenixes. I only see one gas coming out from FOW. He is ahead on the supply count, but CuePhoenix with this natural expansion, which should be relatively safe on this map, is such a long walk distance between bases, and especially since they're cross map, it should be safe for him to build this natural expansion, but we'll see what happens from FOW. He's already very, very far ahead on the worker supply, almost double the workers of CuePhoenix, so FOW's got some tricks up his sleeves. He may not be the Silver League opponent that CuePhoenix thought he was getting. Cybernetics core going down, and you can see instantly doing warp gate. CuePhoenix is gonna be in trouble if he's not ready for some very early pressure from the Protoss player. Zealot being built, gonna be accompanied by that Stalker, and this is very, very classic 4-gate that we are seeing here. Only enough workers on gas to give just enough gas to power those 4 gates and build Stalkers, and the Cybernetics core going down with that warp gate research, and should be seeing a chrono boost being placed on this cybernetics core. You can see that right there, and the Zealot trying to get stuck on the geometry, which is a fun thing to do, and of course a drone coming back in from CuePhoenix to check out what's going on inside the base, and that Stalker should be able to kill it. CuePhoenix's little scouting drone there killed, and what did CuePhoenix see? Let's just click on the tab and see what he sees. We see a lot of routing going on for CuePhoenix, but he does see a cybernetics core and the gateway, which is all there is to see at this point. But once that drone was killed, we see a bunch of gates coming down, and this, my friends, is the dreaded 4-gate. FOW sending that little probe across the map that's going to be putting down a proxy pylon. It'll take him a while to go find CuePhoenix's base, but when he does, CuePhoenix will be in for a big surprise. As we can look from the production tab, CuePhoenix has no idea. He's not preparing whatsoever for this attack. FOW splitting up his scouting units. You can see the attacking units up here, and you can see the probe down here on the lower left-hand side, all looking for that base, looking for hints of where CuePhoenix might be. A little bit of sixth sense coming from FOW that his opponent may be in the upper portion of the map. And oh, they're switching again. Does he have a map hack? I don't know. Stopping here, taking a break. At this point, there are only 3 places that CuePhoenix can be. He's got some intuition that CuePhoenix may be up this ramp. There's a little bit of hesitation by FOW as CuePhoenix is continuing to build drones over in his main, and I know that because I can see the production tab. CuePhoenix not building very much, but the Protoss player banking up those resources, lots of minerals and a lot of gas. He can build a bunch of Stalkers right at once, and in fact he wants to build them. Now we're building up another pylon so he will not be blocked, and as soon as that pylon is done, should be warping in units. FOW doesn't have a lot of attacking units. Bring in that drone and see whether CuePhoenix is here. As soon as he comes up here and doesn't see creep, that's a pretty good sign that the Zerg player has not expanded to this area, but he's going all the way in, going to see that Overlord back right out. That leaves only two options, two places that CuePhoenix can be. FOW taking the gamble, starting to move those units over to CuePhoenix's natural. Are there any defensive units here whatsoever? CuePhoenix is busy building Overlords. This is terrible timing for him. He doesn't have a lot of minerals, doesn't have a lot of gas, and this is it. Stalker's going to be taking down that queen relatively quickly. We're going to watch her health just dwindle away on every single hit, and here comes the Zealot, able put on some pressure. The Zealot going to be able to hit these drones. CuePhoenix trying to attack with the drones and scare FOW off, but there's nothing to be scared of at this point. CuePhoenix has no army units, and FOW is going to be able to bring in attacking units with forward pylons, and even a forward pylon right outside of CuePhoenix's natural. And the hatchery is going to go down at CuePhoenix's natural. Will he be able to build enough army units back inside of his base to hold this pressure off? Big kill there, and you can look at that FOW attacking and pulling back with those stalkers, so these broodlings won't be able to do too much damage to his attacking force. And FOW sitting there with basically no kills on himself, 5 unit kills. Four of those are workers. One of those was that queen. A bunch of roaches sitting here waiting for FOW to come in to attack, and he will come to attack and push these roaches back. Do a little bit of kiting there, putting down force fields to try to prevent those roaches from running away, which they try to do. These zealots are going to be able to slice right through this queen lickety split. Far too many stalkers for these roaches to deal with. They're just going to be torn apart, especially with this zealot piling on the kills, just chopping right through these roaches like they were paper. And GG by CuePhoenix. Wow, so did I tell you that Zerg games were pretty intense? Of course, it does help that the Protoss player was coming in with a lot of attacking units all at once. A 4-gate, a very, very, very aggressive build. You can see the build times on these warp gates just spinning around. He's got to be able to keep up with that production while he's attacking with those attacking units, and he did a great job of doing that, keeping that warp gate going in the background. And you can see focusing up on the front for microing so he can kill off that queen, and microing with his stalkers, kiting those drones back in, but keeping the zealot out front to attack. So you notice that he kept the zealots out front to attack the drones while they came to try to hit those stalkers, and so he's able to push that back. And normally we don't think about that too much, about, you know, drone pressure on stalkers, but that's just an example of FOW doing some excellent control for what was a Silver League game. Not even sure if he's Silver League. I think he's a little bit higher than that. Now look at that again, another little bit of micro management right there, using the zealots to pull the broodlings away from the map. And there he goes. I don't know what he's checking around the map, looking for a third, doing a very good job, being very proactive, using his camera to try to see where attacks might be coming in from a counterattack, which is a very good idea on his part, and doing an excellent job here. I'm still casting in the post game, isn't this crazy? But there's just so much that FOW was doing right in that game. You know, had the in-game chatter at the front, kind of putting the the player off guard. A lot of people don't expect a lot of talking at the beginning of the game, and was able to come in with a really very well done 4-gate, only 4 warp gates. And if you look back to his base, tons of resources, putting on 3 more gates. He could have built an expansion. I mean, very solid 4-gate execution by FOW. All right, GosuDad signing off. Check out the blog GosuDad@blogspot.com, as well as the Twitter @GosuDad, and we'll see you guys in Game 3.